welcome back. Hope you had a nice holiday season and a happy new year. Today I'm making a journal. It is kind of like a new year, new journal, whatever, I don't know. But the point is that I have never really been a lover of digital note-taking or digital reminders or any kind of to-do list on my phone. I kind of must write it down by hand. It's like the only way I'm gonna remember it or even refer back to it. So I always have just had little notebooks and they're always scattered around and they're in every bag, but I decided this time I'm gonna do it a little bit differently, especially for like project planning and stuff. I really like the idea of having one of these notebooks where you can change out and create new kinds of iterations of the inserts. So if you're not familiar with the brand Louise Carmen, I actually hadn't heard of this until sort of recently, but I guess they've been around for a while. They're based out of Paris and they make these beautiful leather journals, and they make inserts to go in the journal, so it's very customizable, very beautiful, very chic. They also have these adorable little charms. I'm not going to get into the charm making today, but maybe in the future. This is something I need, and I need to make it for myself. So around the corner from where I live is a leather school, and basically I've been taking some classes there. I do it periodically, and something really cool about it is that they offer these mystery grab bags, kind of. They also have like huge bins. You can just sort of fill a bag for 10 bucks or under 10 bucks usually, and kind of just get these scraps that otherwise have no purpose and would be a waste. So I love to find local leather stores, leather goods stores, and a lot of times if it's a place that makes the goods they sell by hand in the store, they will have bins like this. So I really encourage people to look around where they live, see if there's anything like this nearby, because it's so much fun. I found the scrap that I'm going to make my journal out of in my mystery grab bag. So just a quick thing about the books I'm going to use. I actually did make them myself. I'm not going to go into bookbinding in this video, but you know, let me know if that's something that interests you. Happy to make a video about it in the future. And it's important that if you're going to make one of these journals, you should also figure out what your inserts are going to be. That's step number one. Know what you're putting in your journal, because we're basing all the measurements around those inserts. With that, let's get started. So you can see that I am just roughly marking on some tracing paper. I want the front, I want the spine, and I want the back, and then I want to include any overlap that I'd like to have. And that is basically how the dimensions will work. Now, since I'm working from scrap leather, I don't have the luxury of a full overlap in the front, so I think I only will have about like a halfway point overlap. That's fine. Do whatever you can with the scraps or the piece of leather that you have. I'm doing a lot of fit checks throughout this entire project. So this is the first one, just taking that paper, making sure it looks good. There should be about a 3 millimeter-ish of overhang on the top and the bottom. So make sure you are also accounting for that. To tell you just a little bit about the books that I made for this project, I have 3. I have a simple sketchbook using some Strathmore sketching paper. I have this graph paper one that is loose leaf, and then another loose leaf one that I've bound together with lines on it. It's lined paper. So here is my beautiful leather. I really love the color of this. This is chrome tanned leather, I believe. Now, like the Louise Carmen journal, I do want to have a pocket on the inside. So also in my grab bag was this second piece of leather. It's not an identical match, but I think it's really beautiful paired with the outer leather. Again, another fit check, and here is where I'm noticing for the first time that there's a bit of a flaw in my leather. It's actually going to be fine, but there is an actual hole. It does go all the way through, and I hadn't noticed it previously. Oops. So going back to my paper, I am poking little holes with my awl that I will use to mark on the leather where I want the grommets to be. I have this 2mm kind of bungee cord almost. To do this particular style of journal, you do have to cut 3 separate lengths, so they're all about the same, and you tie a knot on the inside of the journal. My securing elastic, the one that wraps around the whole thing to keep it closed, I'm just tying a rough estimate, and that is pretty adjustable. I can zhuzh it later when I have all the books in. So to get the size of the pocket, I'm just kind of using what I've made so far, as well as the books, to make sure that it is just along the back of the books and doesn't go into any of the folded sides. So like the Louise Carmen journal, I really love this detail of the a little piece of elastic that's there to hold the pen or pencil. I definitely want to include that. Do I wish that I had a color other than white? Yes, I do. Oh well, it's what I have. We're moving on. So I am familiar with punching through leather, but the punch through the elastic was so annoying and weird and sticky. So it is what it is. I ended up doing a saddle stitch around it, and I couldn't even film it because it was so difficult, and I had to kind of maneuver it in a weird way that the camera couldn't pick up. So here it is. You can see that I didn't even fully finish the X shape in the center of my rectangle because it was too annoying. I just did one line, and actually it's held up fine, so it's all good. Unfortunately, that was not the end of the issues that I was facing at this point, so I'm gonna let past me explain the revelation. Hello. It's the next day. I've had some time to think about my problem. I haven't changed the camera, so it's at this weird high angle. I don't care. Anyway, so my problem, I think, comes down to two things. First of all, after reviewing some of their Instagram videos a bit more, I can see that they're using a thinner cord than what I have. I have 2mm cord. I thought that sounded good and sturdy, and it definitely looks like they have maybe even 1mm. I don't think they're going less than that, because then you start getting into like shirring elastic. So I think they have thinner cord than I do, which is then obviously not as intrusive on the back side and less noticeable when writing over. In addition to that, they are using, and I knew this from the start, they're using veg tanned leather, which is inherently going to be a bit thicker, a bit sturdier. When I don't really know what I have, but I'm assuming it's probably chrome tan because it's quite soft and thin, and that's generally what you get with chrome tan leather. Again, this was like a mystery grab bag, so nothing was labeled or anything. So yeah, I'm not gonna change what I have. The whole point was to use what I already had. Obviously this is the leather I'm working with. I think what I'm gonna do is something a little bit different than how they ultimately make theirs, which is fine. And you know, it's my design, so I can do that. Here's my plan. Step one is I think I'm gonna remove this cord from the back of the journal. It is going to be moved to a new location, which I think for my purposes, the best place should have been in the spine to begin with. I'm gonna put new holes in the spine and new grommets, and I'm gonna reattach this elastic cord in that location. I think that'll be better. You're probably thinking, well, there's still gonna be 2 holes in the back of the journal. That doesn't fill holes back in. Correct. So what I'm going to do there, and especially given that there's this kind of imperfection hole that is in the leather already, I'm going to make another pocket. I have just enough of my leather scraps that I can fit another pocket of the same size in here. And I'm going to have a pocket on the inside and a pocket on the outside. So I will essentially be sandwiching the 2 holes as well as this imperfection hole, and hopefully, I mean, you would know they were there if you look inside the pocket, but you shouldn't really be able to see that they're there just from observing on the outside of the journal. So let's do that. All right, so I don't know exactly what happened to my footage, but I do not have the footage of actually sewing with the machine. It was fine. I sewed the 3 layers together around 3 sides, leaving the insert of the pocket open, of course. I did use my quilting presser foot. I think that it is pretty essential if you're gonna be sewing leather in a domestic sewing machine. But it turned out fine. I have a little bit of a weird tension issue on the back of the pocket. I'm just gonna leave it. Functionally, it's great. It's not too bad on the back of it, and I think for my first go, it's not a problem. I did end up going around the 2 books that I had stab bound with book cloth. I was finding that the elastic was really pulling and tearing at the cardstock that I was using, so I have reinforced it and I've had no issues since doing that. And I love how it turned out. I love that I can have a pencil on the inside, and then I have this little tiny Queco sport pen that I can clip to the outside, and it's so lightweight, and it's really helping. I've actually been using it for a few weeks now. I love how it turned out. But yeah, I hope you give it a try. I hope you liked this video as well, and if you do give it a try, see what's in your area, see what kind of leather scraps you can scrounge. It's really fun to have kind of like this, you don't know what you're gonna get. At least in my opinion, I think these are fun. So give it a try and let me know if you do. Let me know also if you want to see more leather videos, or if you want to know more about the bookbinding. I'm happy to make videos about those subjects as well, and I do have some in mind that I definitely want to make. So thanks, and see you next time.